One of the most transformative aspects of acceptance and commitment therapy is the concept of self as context, the perspective from which we can observe our thoughts, feelings, and sensations without attachment. This part of ACT helps clients understand that they are not defined by their content, thoughts, emotions, experiences, but are the context or environment in which these experiences occur. Let's explore this concept further and understand its implications in therapy. The concept of self as context is also referred to as the observing self. Unlike the content of our lives, the thoughts we have, the memories we keep, the emotions we feel, the observing self is a constant. It does not change. It has always been there, noticing your life, from your earliest memories to the thoughts you had just a moment ago. This part of self is crucial for psychological flexibility because it allows us to detach from the automatic identification with our thoughts or emotions. Understanding and fostering the self as context can have profound therapeutic benefits. Increased detachment from thoughts and emotions. By recognizing that they are the context for their thoughts and not the thoughts themselves, clients learn to observe their mental and emotional processes without becoming entangled in them. This perspective is liberating and reduces the impact of negative or self-limiting beliefs. Enhanced stability and continuity. The observing self provides a sense of continuity throughout life's changes. This unchanging aspect can be a source of comfort and stability when clients face stressful or challenging circumstances. Greater compassion and acceptance. From the vantage point of the self as context, clients can develop a more compassionate attitude towards themselves. Observing thoughts and feelings from a distance tends to soften harsh self-judgments and promotes a kinder, more accepting self-relationship. Observation exercises. These involve practices where clients are asked to simply notice their experiences without trying to change them. For example, mindfulness meditation focused on the breath can help clients experience the self as an observer. Perspective-taking exercises. Techniques such as imagining watching oneself in a movie or visualizing oneself at various ages can help solidify the sense of an observing self, separate from the changing aspects of one's identity. Use of metaphors. ATI often uses metaphors like the chessboard metaphor, where the self is seen as the board on which the pieces, thoughts, feelings, move. This helps clients visualize and understand the concept of being the backdrop against which life's events unfold, not the events themselves. Consider a client, Jenna, who struggles with intense self-criticism and fluctuating self-esteem. Her therapist introduces her to the concept of self as context through the chessboard metaphor. Jenna learns to see herself as the board, not the chess pieces, her thoughts and emotions. This metaphor helps Jenna realize that while her feelings and self-criticisms change, she, like the board, remains constant and stable beneath these fluctuations. By reinforcing this perspective, Jenna begins to feel less swayed by her critical thoughts and more rooted in a stable sense of self. This shift allows her to engage more fully in life, making decisions based on her values rather than her momentary feelings or self-doubts. In summary, self as context is a foundational aspect of ACT that facilitates a healthier, more detached relationship with one's internal experiences. It supports the development of psychological flexibility by allowing individuals to remain stable and grounded, even amidst the often tumultuous seas of internal experience. Building upon the understanding of self as context from our previous discussion, it's vital to provide clients with practical exercises that help them deepen this perspective. These exercises are designed to strengthen the observing self, enabling clients to maintain a stable sense of identity amid the flux of thoughts, emotions, and experiences. Let's explore several techniques that can be incorporated into therapy sessions and daily practices to reinforce this vital component of psychological flexibility. 1. The observer exercise. This exercise helps clients enhance their ability to observe their thoughts and emotions without attachment. Clients are guided to sit quietly and imagine themselves as a mountain with thoughts and feelings passing as clouds or weather patterns. This visualization promotes the understanding that while the weather changes, the mountain, the self, remains constant and unchanging. Practicing this regularly can help clients internalize the stability of the observing self. 2. Writing from the observing self. In this exercise, clients are asked to write about their current experiences from the perspective of an observer. They might begin with phrases like, "Right now I notice," or "I observe that I am feeling." This practice encourages a narrative that reinforces the self as separate from one's thoughts and feelings, highlighting the capacity to notice and describe experiences without being consumed by them. 3. The two chairs technique. This dynamic exercise involves two chairs facing each other. The client sits in one chair as their normal self, expressing their current thoughts and feelings. Then, they move to the opposite chair, which represents the observing self, and respond to their previous statements from this more detached perspective. This physical movement between chairs can help externalize the different aspects of self and enhance the client's ability to shift into an observer mode. 4. Mindfulness with a focus on the senses. Encouraging clients to engage in mindfulness exercises that focus specifically on sensory experiences can deepen the sense of self as context. For example, clients might spend a few minutes focusing solely on what they can hear, smell, or feel tactically. This brings attention away from the narrative content of thoughts and toward the raw data of the senses, facilitating a more grounded and stable sense of self. 5. Use of metaphors in daily life. Clients can be encouraged to use metaphors like the chessboard or the sky and weather patterns in their everyday thought processes. When overwhelmed by emotions or thoughts, recalling these metaphors can help remind them of their role as the context for these experiences, not the experiences themselves. Imagine a client, Dave, who feels overwhelmed by anxiety about an upcoming job interview. His therapist might use the two chairs technique to help him engage with his anxious thoughts from a place of observation. Sitting in the first chair, Dave voices his anxieties and fears. Then, moving to the second chair, he views these concerns from the perspective of the observing self, noting them as just thoughts and feelings that he is experiencing, not who he is fundamentally. This exercise can provide Dave with immediate relief by clarifying the distinction between his thoughts and his identity as the observer of those thoughts. Over time, as Dave practices these techniques, he becomes more adept at not letting anxiety control his actions, making decisions based on a clearer, more composed understanding of his internal landscape. In summary, exercises that facilitate self as context are crucial in helping clients develop a detached, stable sense of self, capable of observing personal experiences without being swayed by them. This development is key to achieving the psychological flexibility that ACE aims to cultivate, allowing individuals to live more fully and respond to life's challenges with resilience and grace.
If you're finding this lesson valuable, you can take your expertise to the next level. Join over 27,000 students at the Institute of Professional Psychology and earn your professional certification in this field. Scan the QR code on your screen or click the link in the description to access the full curriculum, workbooks, and your accredited credential. Let's get back to the lesson.